which we love.
Yes.
So of course, I gotta do my job. Please remember to rate, review, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Ding, 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 ding. And we're gonna have our guests introduce themselves.
Oh, I go first?
Ladies first.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, what should I say? I haven't done the introduction forever. So, Taylor Cobb. Mm-hmm. I am personally a daughter, a sister, a wife, a really good friend, and a good time. Professionally, I am the director of business development for a a newsroom nonprofit called Aldea Foundation, which is the sister fundraising organization to Aldea News Inc. And then I am the managing partner and co-founder of Reify Solutions with my lovely husband here and partner. During the day, I spend a lot of time in a disciplined routine around workout, eating, going to school, because I'm also a doctoral student.
Good for you.
And at night, I just enjoy times with friends, family, and my books. So that's me.
Oh yeah,
I love that.
Swinging over here. Mm-hmm. How's it going? I'm Shay Nelson. Do I look in the camera? Or
You can look in the camera.
We're keeping it social. We're keeping it. All right, cool. I'll get the side profile. Yeah. So my name's Shay Nelson. So personally, I am the oldest of three. So I'm an older brother. I am a proud uncle to wave of nieces and nephews.
There's a lot of nieces
and
nephews.
then I like to say that I'm a part-time husband, full-time personal assistant to the icon known as Taylor Cobb. Professionally, I'm currently the newest managing director for the P4 Hub. So we are a public-private philanthropic partnership hub focused on retaining and elevating Black and brown talent here in the city. It's super dope. We're about to do a lot of cool things. We're right in Germantown. Come through. We'll give you all a tour.
Absolutely.
Yeah, come through. And then I'm also the co-founder and CEO of Reify Solutions. We're a social impact company. I like to say people call us when they want to make the world a better place.
Yeah,
so
I like that.
Keep it pretty chill.
Okay.
Serve on some boards too. So I serve on the board of City Year Philadelphia, the Friends of Beige Martin, and then Drexel University's Board of Governors. Okay. So I'll be serving, and then I'll be helping out. And then at home, I love taking care of our cat, Chiro. I think she's low-key a drug lord. The way she be moving. She be moving like an episode of Power, and I'm like, listen, cat.
No, she actually believes that she owns our house.
Yep. And I'm like the staffer to this cat.
No, he is the staffer to the cat.
And then I do a lot of reading, and then I keep up with different shows and TV just to chill out and hang out. And then anytime Taylor goes to a workout, I'm usually there yep, I'm here.
Got it. I love that. First of all, I want to say that I like that you both started with personally, I am, because we always talk about how you are not your title and I am not my profession and blah, blah, blah. So I just wanted to say that I love that y'all started with personally, this is who I am.
Yes. Yes. And thank you from the both of us for being here.
Yes.
Your energy, as soon as you guys walked in,
come on in, my people.
Yeah.
And I know I don't think I was surprised, because knowing Taylor and speaking to Taylor, this of course fits.
It just makes sense.
Yes. So thank you for coming, and we want to talk about everything you guys want to talk about, whether that's specific to Reify or Power and the drug lord cat that you own. Whatever you guys want to talk about.
Your role as an assistant.
Yes.
Right.
All of these things.
So thank you again for joining us. And then, we always forget to cheers.
Because we don't have no
We have no couth.
Ooh.
Let's cheers.
Cheers to a
I'm
good
already halfway done.
Don't worry, there's a backup bottle.
All that.
Cheers to the new year. Happy New Year.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. But it's great. How was everybody's New Year's?
It feels like so long ago.
Right, we're 2 weeks into the new year, and I'm like, what did I do? I don't remember.
Yeah.
I remember celebrating at home.
Right, yeah. And I got dressed for la sala, regular, traditional.
Regular.
I got dressed with heels and all to sit in the living room, take some pictures, and that was it. Stay safe and COVID free. That was pretty much it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you guys have any plans, or did there was anything big for New Year's?
No, we just hung out with my nieces and nephews.
That was it.
That's a party in itself.
Right.
That's a party.
You watch them play Roblox. I still don't know what they're doing.
I don't know what they're doing.
I don't think I'm ever gonna understand.
And
that.
that's okay. As long as they're set, and I'm just like, listen, I'm putting the big money on you. Like, I know you got some Cheeto dust on that iPad. Is that a part of it too? I don't know.
Like, that's part of your system,
Right.
your game plan
Whatever you need.
system.
Hollywood kid.
We hung out with my sisters and our family, and it was just such a good time because it was intimate, and we just had fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. There wasn't.
It's like easy.
It was easy.
No one counted how many pastelillos I ate. Like,
Right? No, there's no judgment.
Nah, I think it was like 7, maybe 10. I don't know. It was good though.
That was a good time. I think about it. And it was a great time. And then we came into the new year swinging, I guess. Like, it just everything just started moving.
I understand that. It's just kind of like just go.
Yeah.
And now we're at MLK Day.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Like it's happening. It's here.
Yeah. Time is just gonna keep timing, basically.
Right.
So
Time
just
is
keep
not waiting for anyone.
No one.
So tell us a little bit about Reify.
Yeah.
You're saying this year's moving, all good stuff. Like, tell us a little bit about it, how
Yeah.
it started, where it's going, what you see,
Yeah.
all the things. 'Cause
The who, what, where, and why.
yes, please. Yes.
Yeah.
What's
so
up?
I'll start with the beginning.
All right.
And then he could go with the future. So we originally started really working within the practice of diversity, equity, and inclusion in undergrad. So if you follow like what we were doing, really starting probably freshman year, there were moments within our academic experience where it's just like, oh, like we were practicing public speaking, we were talking about critical topics within higher education, we were talking about access to higher education, and then as we started emerging, a lot of course, the larger social movements started happening, and then people were asking us directly, like, what's your opinion on it?
Okay.
So what had occurred is that, okay, well, we're going into our master's programs, and now they're officially knocking on Shane's door saying, hey, we need to really ensure that you are in front of our staffs talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion from the ground up. And what we found really significant and valuable was the fact that it was just like, okay, like we can have these like very direct conversations with you and your staffs. However, we want to get to the nitty gritty and we want to really start diving deep into these social problems so that, to be honest, you're like, for our clients, you're only our client once. We don't want to retain you because if we retain you, that means you haven't learned, right? So what we found was that we were really digesting and diving deep into critical issues that we learned as undergrads, we learned in our masters, primarily pulling from the subjects of sociology, economy, the economics, and everything in between. And we're like, okay, like we can actually formally start doing this. And at that point, Shane had gotten a few contracts underway. And I was just like, okay, well, we need to start a business.
Right.
Because of course, taxes were coming down. I was just like, oh, we need to do something about this.
Right.
So we started Reify
August of 2019.
August of 2019.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it was such a transitional time for us because it was also the year where we bought a house. So thank you. So we had bought a house in a predominantly Black neighborhood who has been significantly under-resourced for like since probably the 60s. So we bought a house in Strawberry Mansion.
Okay.
And the purpose of this house was it to be our home throughout grad school. So we were refurbishing that, starting a business. Shane was doing literally presentations. I was trying to navigate a first-time career in fundraising and development. And at that point, we're just like, okay, we can actually do this. So we latched onto a few clients, and the clients really worked really aggressively with us to ensure that they, as organizations, were leaders within their larger ecosystem around things around like communications, organizational development, organizational strategy. And from that point forward, we're just like, okay, like maybe we can do this full time. So moving it over, we decided like, okay, like let's start diving deep. So fast forward to 2021, we set a plan in place of saying, okay, so what if we went into the business full time? And
there were so many spreadsheets.
There were so many spreadsheets.
I was sweating.
Like, let's talk about it, because it was definitely a lot of ugly conversations. A lot of like, listen, like 1 + 1 has to equal 2. If not, then there's something's gonna fall.
I kept getting 7. I was really
My math ain't math.
No.
My math ain't math.
And then I had then at that point, 2021 happened, got this career opportunity to start a foundation from ground up with an established funding stream for a salary, and also really being at the ground up of a foundation. Then Shane got this really critical opportunity to lead significant transitional change in the Philadelphia area. So it really is a place where it's dynamic, it's adaptable to our lifestyle, and we're still getting people asking us like, are you gonna go full time? Are we gonna stay part time? And as of now, it's like we're in the middle.
Right.
We're in the middle. So that's where we are past and then now, and then Shane talk about the future.
Yeah, for the future. So we were able to start doing a lot of work really around the country. So one of the things that happened during lockdown was we were remodeling the house, like building a kitchen, and then I would go upstairs and start doing like digital trainings. And so
literally we were dusting him off. Right.
All right, good. Like I still had like sawdust in my beard. It was a lot. And so what I would do is, I would have these trainings with folks, and then I would just do like small networking opportunities where I could, because we thought, okay, it's only lockdown. Like it's only a pandemic. We're going to navigate this. What's the worst that could happen? And then we're surrounded by like all this collective Black death. And it was just one of these pieces where people kept asking, what's more, what's next? And Taylor would be in those conversations saying, look, what's next is we're going to get you right. And then if you come back to us, we're going to just remind you of what we already told you, right? Going back to what we were talking about earlier before we started, right? I said what I said.
Right.
And I think that's where we're starting to get and starting to see within like the larger like social impact and DEI space. Like the research has been out since like the 60s and prior too. Like everyone can do this work. And for some reason, we just keep like getting into these places and spaces of like, listen, like, we need y'all to understand this. Right. And we're going to work with you. And we're going to use as much compassionate coaching as possible to make that happen. And so in the future, like as we get, closer and closer to the future, we're living it every day, right? We're always thinking, all right, how do we empower more people around us to like either join our team? How do we continue to like remain entrenched in Philadelphia, because we're both Philly kids and we love giving back to our city. And now we're figuring out different ways to start doing work like on the West Coast, down South, and really keeping this broad like focus of clients for right now within higher ed, workforce development, and then all things DEI. So the future is looking really fun. It's looking really great. And there's just a lot of positive momentum. And I think as long as I have Taylor like wrangling me in and like my vision, because I have this like thing where I'll be like, ooh, this is shiny. Ooh, that's shiny. And I'll move from like different thing to different thing. This is that year of like really focus and honing in. And, like my wife has just been so iconic and just saying like, listen, if you focus on these two things, I bet you it's all gonna work out. I was like, all right, bet. Let's do it.
And I think that's what has been like really critical to like our overall development. For such a long time, we would be so focused on managing so many balls in the air. And it's just like, well, some things just have to drop. Right. Some things just have to break and sweep it away and keep it moving forward. So this year is really a year where we're honing in on a lot of our skills, honing in on ensuring that not only our skills meet like the level of like basic excellence. It's like, we were having this conversation driving to our home spiritual center, and we were saying like, no, we're now raising the standard of excellence. We're going to the next level. We are aspiring to do something just not only great for where we are now, but great for the future. So there's a level of refinement and discipline that we're learning within our careers that will definitely set the foundation for our long-term success, and ensure that really we're able to go to the next level personally, because we spend so much time thinking about like our future. We spend so much time thinking about, okay, like who we're going to be. But in actuality, if like what we've really honed in on and developed for this past year was a recognition that, okay, like what if we got good at really maximizing this 1 hour, this 30 minutes. And of course, this is something that my husband has been teaching me for the past,
I'm not gonna say
like 7. He's like, now I'm the time management expert, right? And he really is. And I'm just like, what? Like this is actually working. So we've really like cleared off a lot of our different priorities and said, listen, we're honing in on the things that will ensure that we are not only like leaders, but like
legacy makers.
Legacy makers, yeah.
We work well together.
Yeah.
No, I can tell. I love it. I love your energy.
So it's that's the focus.
That's Reify in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Right. That's amazing. Because from your conversations about it, the way you're describing it, you can feel the passion. It's not just a trend, and I'm sure we could talk about that, how a lot of companies are using this now as a trend to like stay in front of something, but are really just falling behind because
without
they're not implementing
it.
Exactly. So hearing your passion for it and your true belief in this, that this is the direction that we need to be going, is exactly what I think most people need to hear, because again, trend buzzwords, and then they don't kind of implement what they've been, sitting on their soapbox talking about.
It's that damn library.
You just gave me a memory from when I was in nursing school. So it was maybe 75 to 80 people in my class and about 5 people of color. And there was one day, one of the instructors one of the administrators came around and started to pull us from different classrooms, like, hey, Mel, such and such, just come, we just need you real quick. I'm like, okay, like you want to be in a magazine? Sure, why not? Absolutely. Like, what do you mean? Like, what's the magazine about? And they were saying like diversity in healthcare. So I was like, okay, whatever. The magazine comes out and they go into this. They have this extensive article about how the school was so diverse and blah blah blah. And I was like, this is bullshit. Like all you did was handpick us out of the classrooms. You put us in front of a magazine and said, look what we have here. And that was literally like, we're just going to follow the trend, and it looks good on paper and it looks good on the pamphlets, but we're not implementing any of this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's again, we were just discussing this, like talking about really the behaviors of inclusion. Everybody says, oh, we want to be inclusive. We want to have this organization that is just this magical place for people of color, this magical place for like multicultural folks to come in and just be leaders and stuff like that. But there's a level that there isn't a level of understanding around like, okay, like these are the behaviors that are pushing people out. And what we do is, it's interesting. We have a lot of one-on-one conversations with our colleagues. They're not clients, they're colleagues in the space.
Because we're doing this work together.
Yeah. Right.
And understanding where they are at, they're just like, oh, we never got that. So then we go into the historical approach to it, and they're like, oh, now we get it. So then it significantly changes the operations of an organization, because it's like, okay, like once you, like an organization is just a group of people, right? Individual behaviors is what makes a place inclusive. Like once you change those individual behaviors, it's just it becomes magical. You see individuals emerge as like those equity-minded leaders that are now promoting people faster. They're now ensuring that their young people are really developed and empowered.
You see policy changes with it as well. I think that's been the most rewarding. Like, when we were in undergrad, going to different protests, like doing everything on the front lines that, like you need to do. You need to have that hands-on experience. Now we're in a space where, we'll still like step out when we need to make sure we're in solidarity with folks, and we're also in like simultaneously with that getting the policies written, right? So that way it's permanent.
Change is happening.
You can't change it. Like it's right there in writing. Boom, you voted on it. Stick to it. So that's been one of the coolest parts. Like we're gonna go from like the front lines to the boardroom and everything in between, and like really set it up and shape it out.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah.
It's been fun. And I think what's the most fun is like watching people grow.
Yeah.
Watching people like
Look at like light bulb.
Those light bulb moments are like we love them because it's just
it
like
might be the most simplest thing, and they're like, oh,
right.
You just broke it down, and now I get it.
Yeah, it's the light bulb moments for me. Where I was just talking to a leader, and like we put it plainly around their leadership, and we put it in such a like an artful way where she just understood, and what had occurred is that now she's like asking us to go into deeper conversations around this for her organization, and I'm like, damn, this feels good, because there was such a level of fragility that existed within the first moments of her interactions with us. That I was just like, listen, like, I don't even know if I can actually take you in as a relationship. But then what had occurred is that she started, talking to us more, recognizing where she was from one of Shane's mentors saying strong and wrong. And literally there was a level of like, okay, like I'm going to remain humble and learn and grow. And she went into that growth mindset, and now she's right now like looking at her board, looking at her organizational structures, trying to figure out how she's going to really be that equity-minded leader. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's pretty
I love
cool.
that.
Yeah.
Like, it probably means that much more when you have someone that's just has a little stronger will. Like, I don't know if we're on the same page, and then you break down those barriers, and you're like, you got it, and now they want more from you.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, we could talk about this for like eons and decades, but
I love
like,
it.
what else is on your mind? Like, because we came into this, we were like thinking about like, oh man, what are some of the questions that we're gonna like get asked, and like Reify does come up. And like, right, we're just having a good time.
Yeah, we just talk.
Yeah. So what's up? What else?
How does someone how do you get clients or colleagues, right? How does someone get involved with you?
Yeah.
And kind of how do you take them through those steps? Like what is, I guess, the process of, I learned about this organization. I really want, I love what they're talking about. What's next?
I want to implement this in my company. How do I reach you? What is the process, I guess?
Yeah, I think the first step, right, they go over to DEIessentials.com, like designed by the iconic Taylor Cobb. I always have to add iconic, because like the way she built this website in like 2 nights with just a cup of coffee and some vibes, I was like, yo, this is wild. And so, right, like they do that, they check us out, they understand and see if there's like real alignment there, because I think that's super key when we're working with people. Like if we're not in alignment, it's just not going to be a good time, right? Okay. And then I usually reach out, send a follow-up email saying, hey, look, I know you checked out our website. Thanks for submitting like our contact form. Would you have like time in your day for a 15-minute Zoom?
Yeah.
Super down to earth. And then I just help them clarify the problem that they're seeking, and if we can help them solve that problem, or at least move to a newer problem, because I don't think we can ever get to like true solutions, right? It's like this thing where we set the culture, we set the pace, something new pops up, and we're right there, and we've given you this like skills and tools to be both like responsive and like set the prevention. And then from there, if they're like, hey, this works, let's like set this up. We submit a proposal to them saying, hey, look, this is how long you'll work with us. We usually try to aim for like that 6 month to year plus mark, because it just takes time to sit and grow. There's no silver bullet to this.
It's not a quick fix.
I don't know if you can TikTokify. I've learned a lot from TikTok. I still don't know my talk from my Tik, but I'm still trying to figure that out. But it takes that kind of longer process and that longer journey. And then every step of the way, we're finding different milestones to like review and make sure that they're calling us into growth as well. Like the best example I have of that, one of our annual clients had reached out to us. We were at month 7. And we had put in the proposal, like, hey, this is a part of the timeline where we review and assess. But I forgot to send that, like, reminder email. And they reached out to us naturally and were like, hey, can we, like, reposition some of the coaching hours here? Can we turn up more on, like, the coursework? And we were like, actually,
Absolutely.
yes. Like, we put the plan in place for that. Because I think that's important, too. Like, as we're, like, it's kind of like an experiment, right? Like, if I move this over here, if we move this solution over there, does that make the most sense?
Right.
Or do I move it closer and then I'm like, oh, I can actually pick up the cup and take a sip?
This makes more sense.
For the next year, we're probably not taking any new clients. So thank you for people who are interested in working with us. However, we're not taking any new clients because we're in that point of refinement.
Right.
We're working with a few like really distinguished organizations that will create substantial change. And we want to get this one really good.
We cannot afford to mess this up. That's the pep talks these days. She's like, get it together.
It's focused.
Right.
Tunnel vision.
It's like taking, I'm in my doctoral program and they only give us 2 classes, right? 2 classes a semester. But the amount of work associated with these classes is a lot.
There's 2 for a reason.
It's a game of time management. And that's the way business is. It's a game of time management. And then not only that, executing on the promise and associated tasks that were agreed upon in the initial phases, ensuring that you're putting yourself at the highest capacity where you're not only like meeting expectations, but you're exceeding it. And it's funny because I got that literally. One of my first jobs was at Enterprise Car Sales, and I was selling insurance. And we would get graded on like how frequently we exceeded expectations within our level of like customer service. So it's just like for all the emerging business leaders, for all the folks who want to get into like the space of being an entrepreneur, it's like if you get one really good client, make them the sun of the sky. Make them feel as if that they are the center of the universe.
Make them feel VIP.
And like that right there will drive so much business by itself. The amount of referrals that we get based off of some of our like previous clients, it's ridiculous, really. However, again, we are in the space where like we have our current client portfolio, and right now we're just focusing on making sure that they are outrageously satisfied with what we are providing, and that then pushes us to the next level. It pushes us to the larger
start to spread the word naturally.
Right. Exactly.
And it's the long-term contracts.
Right. Exactly. That's what it is.
Like it's not we want the first year contract, but you always want the second year. And the second year, the exposure to their network, the exposure to their boards, it by itself grows business. So like I feel like that's like the biggest piece of advice that I can give to anybody who's thinking about going into that space, because again, like just being it's the refinement, the honing in. Like Shane said it the best the other day, is that like an overnight success overnight success actually was 10 years worth of preparation.
Right.
Right. We're right now at year maybe like
we're like 6, 7. So this is the fun part. So like this next, like we keep using the measurement of time, 3 years, 6 months. Like we're thinking in the next like 3 years to 6 months, that's when it just like goes crazy. And so now it's just that part of like, all right, these are the last little skills. Like this is what we have to polish up. This is where we need to grow, both like professionally, but also personally as well. Like what other things can we add to our repertoire and our toolkit to make sure that we're like at that point of actually being a full kind of overnight success for what like the streets need and what we need.
But when they see you, they're like, oh shoot, they pop it. They just came out of nowhere. No, we've been working for a decade. We've been working
in the lab.
Right.
Yeah,
it's like that movie, that Squid Games series that came out. Everybody was saying like that was almost like he just came out of nowhere. But I read the background story, and he had been shopping that around for over 10 years, and he got the door closed in his face several times, and then Netflix came along.
Right.
For us, it's like, oh, where'd you come from? And for him, he's like, I've been doing this forever.
Right.
Listen, the amount of no's, the amount of failures, it's like
lessons learned.
Lessons
learned.
No, they were bad. They were
really bad.
That was gonna be real.
No, they were bad.
No perfection here. There's only progress.
Like, there's
only progress.
like, and even like they were. yeah, they were really bad losses. Like, it's just like we think about it. I'm just like, damn. We were at the championship level. Like we could do this. We can win. Bang, lost.
Wind out of your sails.
Like you're out. Like
keep going. Do not pass go. Do not pass go.
But that, I feel like it just made us stronger. Made us more prepared for the next one, because Lord knows that we're not gonna make that mistake
right.
again.
Nope. Why did they tell us no? Okay, that's not gonna happen. Right. That's it.
It's in the notebook.
That's it. That's it. Yep. Like, trusty old notebook.
Right.
We have a notebook nearby.
Yeah. So it's been fun. It's been a cool ride. It's been a really cool ride.
How do you guys manage your work-life balance?
Ooh.
That's
There's a lot of work.
Oh man.
Go for it.
So I'm one of those folks, I really don't believe in a work-life balance.
Okay.
I believe in just like a life harmony, right? So we do work that connects to both our purpose and our passion, right? So it's what we're giving to ourselves, but also what we're giving to the world. And then there's also like the pockets connection to it, right? Because we're able to spend time and kick it with y'all, right? And not have to worry about too many things falling off, right? And so for us, we keep that work-life harmony in a few ways. So before the pandemic, we built our own planner, and it had month by month, week by week, and then quarter by quarter, goals and points of a check-in. That was our playbook. Because when
I love that.
I moved back to Philly May of 2019, and everything was in flux. We were looking for the house, we were finding new roles. I called it fun employment because that was my way of coping.
I like that.
And once we started really getting into a solid cadence, we were like, hold on, before everything else falls off, we have to get ourselves right first. And so now it's this, really focused check-in. We stopped using the planner because during lockdown, we really elevated our communication. I'm going to say me, because there was just a lot of area of growth for me. I was like, wait a second, I can use my words to communicate my emotions and not just do knuckleheaded stuff. Right. Just
not just be in my feelings for no reason.
Exactly. Words are powerful, y'all. And there's gonna probably be a comment man discovers emotion. Shocker.
I might have to use that. A little clickbait.
That's another soapbox I'll get to later. But it's really been around that communication and then that cadence of accountability. I read this book and then I passed it to Taylor. It's called The 4 Disciplines of Execution.
Yeah.
And so we took that business book and we were like, all right, what are some of the lead measures in our house that we have to focus on? What is our scoreboard? Our current scoreboard is just all right, what bill, all of our bills are paid? Great. Next thing, remodel. Next thing, this, contract wise. And then really focusing in on all right, these are the wildly outrageous goals we want to actually tackle. And that's how we're going to keep track of it. And so we make sure that's all set. And then we make sure every single thing is in alignment, right? So Taylor's on a couple boards, I'm on a couple boards, we're doing all these different things, but it doesn't feel like we're stretched everywhere. Okay. Because it's so aligned. And that came from an exercise that I picked up when I was living in upstate New York, where I put myself in a circle and I tried to keep track of where I was getting pulled, because I was this is weird. I feel stressed and I shouldn't be feeling stressed. I'm just a grad student. Let me figure this out. And so once we started figuring out, okay, your job's pulling you here, my job's pulling me there. There's all these different responsibilities. There's the cat. We don't know when the cat reads up.
Right.
We gotta keep track of the cat. Once we started figuring out that alignment, then it became as simple as hey, I got to get the coffee right. And I'm learning how to get the coffee right every morning. But then that's it. That's it.
Yeah. It's
coffee is life. Coffee is life. Okay.
Listen, I'm just going to take another sip. We learned it.
Yeah.
See how she built that website off of coffee? Listen, coffee is
life. It's been an exercise of, again, really mapping out where we were spending our time. The most valuable thing we have is time. And if I only got 24 hours, 8 hours dedicated to sleep, because I do need my 8 hours.
We do get 8 hours.
Yeah, and I don't compromise on that. And yes, I do take an hour shower. I will not compromise.
That is your time.
It is my time of meditation. But beyond that, it's just okay, so I have 16 hours to play with. What am I going to do within these 16 hours to maximize them, but also ensure that I am not only personally developing, but professionally developing? And that, of course, like we started off with our personal titles, I have a very, very strong affinity to my family as a Latina. And I don't ever take that time for granted. Prior to about, I can say like 2018, there was like a distinct moment, a life-changing event that occurred that like put me into really foresight. I was just like, okay, like where am I spending my time, and why don't I feel as if I'm being like as loved? And not saying that of course my professional network didn't love me, because of course they love me, right. But like it wasn't that depth of right. love that I got from that fullness, like seeing my nieces and nephews smile, like, you know joy. What I mean? Like it's crazy to me how much they're just like, my family is just natural medicine, right? So we started really assessing, okay, so how are we spending our time? We do have these very audacious goals, and we need to ensure that these things really are centered, because if not, then we're going to be driving ourselves to these goals, and we're going to get there, and it's just like we're going to look around, and I'm not going to see my little nieces, because they're just so stinking cute. They have their goals, and it's just like, I want to see, like, yes, I will buy all the cookies from your bake sale, right?
Absolutely.
And I do have to go pick those up, but like it's just been really like, to your original question around work-life balance, the people who find that is office, because like they have to take a step back and really go back to like either undergrad or high school or even grade school around like how we used to manage time. Like we were in school for 8 hours, right? They put us in school for 8 hours, and you had another 8 hours like this designed for whatever it was your time was designed for. Of course, we have the measurements of inequality, and people were more well resourced, people were not as well resourced, so they were still learning how to manage their time. But again, we have to ensure that like the time that we're giving, we maximize on every hour, and we are getting everything that we need out of every day. So yes, every day I do call all of my sisters, because they're the people who keep me sane. And it's funny, Shane calls them the party line, because
such a good time. I'm the oldest of three. I don't have that, so I'm just like, this is real fun. Like, I call my brother. He's just like, he's in college right now. He's about to be. He has 3 more semesters left. So yeah, he's like a junior going to be senior. So like, I call him. He's just like, yeah, I got classes. I'm like, all right.
He's like, what do you want?
Like, sorry, all right. Then I call my sister. It's the same energy. She's 12, and so she's just like, listen, why
are you calling?
If you're not connected to my piece or my pockets, I don't want it. Because she has her 3 businesses. She made $200 off a bracelet. She told me, and I was just like, listen, all right.
She is booked up busy, honey. What do you want?
Yeah, clearly, I'm taking up your time. Sorry. Okay.
That's funny. No, I'm like, I speak to my sister, if not every day, every other day, and then we have our Marco Polo, where it's 4 of us, and we de-stress on there. We talk about good things and business moves and all that, and then we also just vent as well. It's just a safe space where there's no judgment. We can say, you know what, I'm being bummed today. It's okay, go ahead, take that time, you need it. Let's think about it.
And if you need to hear, no, you're not going to be a bum today, because you were a bum yesterday.
Yesterday you took a 3-hour nap, man. Get up.
Come on, accountability.
Right. Exactly. We definitely hold each other accountable.
Oh my gosh,
I love that.
No, but family, I mean, I talk to my sister every single day, and speak to my nephew and see my niece. She's only 1, so she doesn't really talk to me. But she'll get there. And I talk to my mom and my dad every day. These are your, right, before you knew who your accountability partners were, before that became a thing, these were your people.
These were your people.
Those were the things that they were holding you accountable for. So keeping that, I love the idea of like the time and management. And you're gonna get your 8 hours, and you're gonna do this because
and you're not compromising.
Exactly. On that. Like, I wish I had my planner here, because I would show you.
Oh, yeah. You would love her planner.
Oh yeah, I know. I see it on Instagram.
That is a thing. I know exactly what I'm doing at what time and where we're doing. Well,
you would be a good planner developer.
More to come on that.
I feel like you've gotten my life together. Remember when we started this podcast, and I was like, girl, I am not getting out of bed before 9 o'clock. You tripping. Like, I am not getting up. I just had a completely different mindset.
Yeah.
I'm up at 5:30, no alarm, no problem. I just get up. Like, it's mine. I just changed everything. Everything just, like, something clicked. with time management, and I was feeling burned out, and I was like, I'm always busy, but I'm not productive.
It's the productivity.
So how can I become productive and within these hours? And even just like, okay, if I used to give this job 12-hour shift, I can put that into myself. How can I make myself grow, whether it's personally with my businesses or, business or personal? But I gave myself that time back because I was definitely a lounger. Netflix, yes, I'm still watching, continues to play. But within these last couple months, a lot has changed, and I'm like, Josh, I thank you for that because you definitely got my life together.
Oh, thank you.
Is there an all button on it?
No.
I can add it.
Yeah. Warm moments.
Like, you would have never thought I wouldn't have. If I saw myself a year ago, I would have been like, you're not doing that. That's not happening. But I realized how important time was. And I think that has a lot to do with 2020. I'm like, there's a lot of things you can do. You can make more money. You can make more businesses. You can't make more time.
Yeah.
Time is a ticking.
It is ticking. And like the other thing that like we've also learned this past 2 years is like how much grace that we really needed to give each other.
Yes.
We were not only growing a business, but we were literally rebuilding a house. I wish we'll probably put that on the podcast, the pictures of the house before and after. The floors were up, the walls were down, like. It
was like completely gutted.
Now, were you guys doing this like on your own?
With our uncle.
Yeah, with the help of a couple uncles. And like we turned our main bedroom into a studio apartment and like had to just like get it off the hustle because it was like January 2020. We were like, all right, we have this plan for the house. Like, what could go wrong, basically?
Oh, it's just a little pandemic.
February, we had a really good discussion in an IKEA parking lot because I had made it spicy. I was like, listen, I have to go to this conference. They invited me to speak. It's international. It's good for us. And like not understanding the connection between, or not, having the priority of the personal over the professional. I was like, oh no, like my priorities were switched. I flew to Nashville. We didn't have a kitchen in the house. So like we were just getting it off of like a toaster oven. So when I came back, mind you, like that was now first week of March 2020. There was a tornado that had unfortunately taken like 40 people from Nashville. And I was and then we started talking about it being a pandemic. So I'm like, I'm at this international conference. There was already a tornado. And now I come home, I'm like,
it's just like deadly virus running rampant.
And then came home, there was no kitchen. And, I sat down, got real vulnerable and just owned the fact that like that was a critical mistake. Like I had put myself first in the wrong way in our dynamic, in our partnership. And then once we had that, direct like conversation, we took accountability for like I took accountability. She didn't need to take accountability for anything.
I took accountability for the way I communicate with my tones.
I'm still working on that.
And we focused, but we built that kitchen in a month. Like, and I had no like carpentry skills, nothing. And I was like,
just your YouTube and your uncle.
That's it. And her uncle fired me like 5 times. He was just like, you suck. And I was just like, I'm trying so hard. She's upstairs working. Like, it was bad.
Yeah, it was legitimately like we were on the floor, like cutting 2x4s. We were shopping for our appliances, painting the cabinetry because of course everything was recycled.
Finishing the floors ourselves.
Yeah.
We ran like fake HVAC ducts just to like see if it could connect.
Yeah. It's such a great time.
It was like a fun time.
It was so fun.
It was, I guess, like
twice. The rest of the time was like real tiring.
There were a lot of growth conversations.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like,
it was a lot of.
You be real.
Right.
But now the house is done. Brunch is always. Everybody's always invited for brunch. Shane makes a mean fried chicken.
I do. It's abuela approved. Like her grandma approved it.
That's important.
Yeah.
Like she said,
that's
Shane,
real
good chicken. I was like,
forget that blue check mark on.
Right.
I saw. Have y'all seen this Siete tortilla chips?
No.
So if you turn on the back, they're abuela certified because they like put the recipe in front of their grandma and then put the badge on the bag, like everything.
This is an advertisement.
Right. Siete promo. Right. Get us some more chips. Those are good chips.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And I feel like what else emerged as like in 2020 is that we've become like legit foodies.
Yeah, we love cooking.
We to be honest, I'm gonna like tap ourselves on the back because we went from like just doing typical things.
I was classic pasta and protein. That was my jam. I was like, "What you want, girl? Pasta with a protein?
You want that chicken Alfredo,
right?" And that'd be like 4 days out of a 5-day work week. That's not fun.
He only stuck to red sauce and only stuck to chicken. I'm just
I was just like,
pesto?
I don't know, but no, we leveled up crazy.
Yeah, Philadelphia, like we really do have the privilege of being in like an international city.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like. We went from, just shopping at, like, just our typical grocery store to now having, like, an arena of grocery stores.
Like what type of food do you want to eat today?
Done.
Like, we traveled around the world. Like, we were in the Middle East, we were in Africa, we were in Asia, just whipping up these meals, and they were popping.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Like, and I do consider myself a chef.
Yeah.
There you go.
Amateur chef. I don't care.
Yeah.
Chef nonetheless.
Claim it.
Yeah,
Claim it.
it's my title.
Yeah.
It's my title. So I love we love food.
Mm-hmm.
We love food.
We love
Yes.
food here too.
Yes,
I think that was the first question he asked me this morning. He's like, "Okay, before the day starts, what do we want for dinner?"
Yeah. I've already said
That's a great way to start the dinner.
Important questions because
You
he
gotta
knows
preempt it.
once I get going, it's like
Yeah.
keep up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We haven't, to be honest, gotten on the wave of trying to figure out what we want for dinner on the weekends. Like the weekends are always really difficult for us.
Or they're more like exploring days. Like we do our best. We do our best to do like most of our service like either during the day or if we have to handle something like early afternoon or like late morning. Because then the rest of the day is just like, listen, let's just go frolic. Like we had an Uber driver last night. He is celebrating 30 years of being with his wife.
That's beautiful.
And I was just like, listen, what game do you have to give me, right?
What's
And
your secret?
He was just like, you gotta date your wife. And I was just like, yeah. So I try to like operate off of the mindset of like, this is this little independent film. We're just gonna go like get lost in a record store, go to the bookstore, have a good time, make sure the playlist is right.
Right.
Yeah, it's
a lot
important.
of long drives. But what we've done, shout out to your beach body routines, is that we prep all of our meals for the week.
Yep, lunch and dinner.
Nice.
Yeah.
That just relieves like so much stress of thinking like, I really know what I'm gonna eat. Like that's 2 things done because that's 2 meals right there.
Yeah.
And now you can just
take it out the refrigerator,
Right.
pull it out, eat. We're good.
No, the thing, really what it relieved for us was the conflict of the dishes.
Ooh.
how about that?
The amount of like moments where Shane and I would go into conflict because the kitchen was messy.
Because I'm team, it needs to soak. So that does not resonate with my wife.
Soak method.
Yes, it needs to soak. Just let that pot sit here for like 3-4 days. It needs to soak.
I think so.
Because I think men really like soaking the dishes.
It just needs to soak. It makes it so much easier.
And it also buys you time.
It does. It does. I can go send a couple emails, Fine. It needs to soak.
Yeah.
You know, if you watched it right away, you wouldn't have to soak it. I'm just saying.
Or, I've learned that there's this method called cleaning as you go. Mind-boggling. Let me tell you.
Clean as you go, or no pots in the house.
She's thrown out.
I don't know how you're gonna cook because we don't have no. I told you not to soak that pot.
Now it's
You
gone.
soaked it
Now it's
away.
gone.
Disintegrated.
Yeah. That's another thing. We've like my cousin, he is a part of Stoicism. Am I saying this correctly?
He's a stoic, yeah.
Yeah, and we've eliminated so much things out of our house. Where again, I would think about it like, why do we have? Because of course we love to host brunch, so we have like a lot of champagne glasses. We have a lot of like just plates in our storage. And I would think like, how did we go from having 1 dish in the sink to having 10 dishes in the sink, but there's only 2 of us in the house, right? So
that's why I'm gonna cut like this.
So going back to like time, it's just like, and like another piece of minimalism, got rid of it all. We operate out of three pans. We only have 2 bowls. No, we have 2 of the big bowls because we like to eat a lot of noodles, like our Asian style noodles, and it's just it's a different place when you can have a big bowl.
Yeah, big noodle bowl.
I'm like, give me some sancocho in a big old bowl.
Right.
Right.
It's out of respect, to the dish.
Absolutely.
Spoken like a true chef.
A chef.
Dish.
A chef.
We only have 2 plates. We have very minimum things, like literally like forks, spoons, and we are just it just again created less conflict in the house. The level of operations went just we now we run like a steam train.
Yeah, no, it's like a line cook. Like
we are doing
she has the recipes down, and I'm like, all right, yes, chef. Chop, chop. Move. Next
thing. Give me that
thing.
one pan.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah. We've always
And I won't soak it.
yeah.
That was the but
Yeah, we were just talking about have you seen again, not another advertiser, Next Level Chef?
No.
It's on
It's on. So it's offered by Fox, and it's Fox Alternative Media. Because I was like, this is a diverse cast. They have an indigenous chef. They have a Filipino. Like every dimension of diversity you could think of in terms of like at least race, ethnicity, and even class background. Yeah. They have it.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, come on, Fox. You wouldn't make that connection.
It took you a long time, but
listen, that's why they said alternative media.
Yeah.
Right. It's a great time.
So shout out to them, because if they want to do a couples challenge,
put it out there, challenge them,
honey.
Or Chopped, because Chopped has like 57 seasons.
Yeah,
I love Chopped.
It's incredible.
Yeah, I definitely would love one of after I'm done my doctoral program.
Yeah,
but
she's busy.
Put us on the wait list.
Yeah, I would love for Shane and I to compete at a chef show.
Amazing.
Oh my god,
awesome.
it would be so much
Have
fun.
you watched Beat Bobby Flay?
Yes, many times.
I love these shows.
Mm-hmm.
I do too.
You already said it, so now we'll see you on TV doing a couple
Right,
shows.
it has
And
to
then you come back and tell us all the secrets of behind the scenes.
Done. Just give us that 3 years and 6 months. That's it.
That's it.
We are
You
not
guys
going
might be
anywhere.
developing the next planner. And I'm a planner hoarder, so I'm like, give them to me all. Get my life on track.
Yeah. Yeah, it was when that plan. We really developed that planner for couples, because there were so many points in our day that we was just okay, Shane, why do you have meetings from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Because I'm out here.
And then he would be like, why are you on this long call every Saturday? And I'm just like, well, I told you. And then she's like, no, we did not. You did not tell me.
What's a we?
And what's a we?
It's a gaming system.
You speak French now?
Right. we what?
So that planner literally forced us to sit down and talk to one another about what was going on in the week.
Schedules, yeah.
And by itself, we would talk about bills, long-term goals, short-term goals. And now we're at the point where, of course, we talk every day, but we do, we're off of the 12-week model. So what's
the 12? Another good book recommendation, 12-week year.
I love
That's your book.
Yes, that's
Then you
my
always
book.
Oh,
recommend
yeah.
that.
It's a great one.
So that's what my current planner is based off of.
Nice.
It's beautiful. I have to see that planner. But we operate that off of not only our professional life, but our personal life. We're in the 12-week year. What are our next goals? We set these beautiful vision boards, not only for us each individually, but personal.
We
as
said,
a couple.
Yeah, I have mine, she has hers, and then we have a couple one.
Yeah. So it's just
These are our people.
Hello, these are our people.
We talk about this all the time.
and
I think I asked Jody on the last time. I was like, you or suggested. I was like, because she, a best friend of my best friend is in a new relationship, and she did her vision board, and I said, well, you guys should do one together on what your goals are together, because you both have individual goals. She's like, that's a great idea. It's like, I know, I'm a genius. What do you want?
yeah, shout out to Canva.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, take all my money.
Just leave me in Canva all day. All day.
Who says I'm not a designer, web designer?
Canva says I am.
Damn, I love Canva.
Love Canva.
And it's just emerging as a great tool too. Great tool. Someone who put me into the level of design. I'm just But then, to be honest, I started working with people who really knew Adobe.
Oh, yeah, they be
like a role graphic designer. I'm like, oh, all right.
And then Adobe be like, Adobe me.
Right. We love Canva because it's so user friendly. I think real graphic designers are not fans of
No.
No, these
I had
will
a
get some
graphic
hate.
designer tell me Canva's going to put me out of a job. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
However,
Look what I could create.
However, look what I did.
Right. Look what I can do.
And like the thing is that like even like the graphic designers that I know, they're just so spot on. And like they're and shout out to the people in the arts, man.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And the creators out there, because it's just like y'all just understand the world so differently.
See it differently.
Like we just need more people in the arts and more people in the humanities.
Tell them.
That's that on that. I don't have any other questions, but I really enjoyed this episode.
This was
talk.
wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This was awesome. The energy, the conversation.
Thanks for giving us the space.
You're always welcome.
man.
So, I have so many things in the works. If you ever want to come back and talk about something specifically, whatever it is, you're more than welcome. I will not close that door. And the door is open.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, and I can't wait until you have like I see the studio and it's just one step and it's gonna go to the next level. It really
We're
is.
excited. We're excited.
Really
We're about
is.
to come up on a year. I can't believe it.
Whoa.
What are you doing for your anniversary?
I know. We were talking about there was like we need balloons.
We need balloons. We need arches.
Confetti. We need everything.
We need the champagne. We need it all.
I did a call Tifa about that confetti gun.
The confetti.
You got a confetti gun? Do it big. Celebrate yourselves.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's not only like I was just talking to a colleague of mine. It's just like no, like people have this like just outrageous standard of success. Thinking about it like from a 10-year, 15-year standpoint. And it's just like it's the small moments that
Celebrate
really
them.
like I'm just gonna sit here and give you like the space. I'm gonna give you your flowers. It's the consistency.
Right.
It's the your guests, because I've seen all your guests and it's just like y'all bringing some really dope people. It's the quality of the production, because it's like I see it, like the lights, the boards, the camera. The cameraman. It's the consistency. It's those moments. So I really hope that you do it big, because just going through the moments, it's like you've done a really excellent job, and there's nothing but up from here.
Ooh, you doing a good job. Ooh, you doing a good job. Ooh, you doing a good job.
I love it. And that is a wrap on this episode. Thank you guys again so much.
Welcome.
Bye.